If you want something said, ask a man. If you want something done, ask a woman. Woman is the dominant sex. Men have to do all sorts of stuff to prove that they are worthy of woman's attention. A girl should be two things, classy and fabulous. Women, they make the highs higher and the lows more frequent. A woman is like a bag. You can't tell how strong she is until you put her in hot water. Think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness. To understand how any society functions, you must understand the relationship between the men and the women. I measure the progress of a community by the degree of progress which women have achieved. Wives are young men's mistresses, companions for middle age, and old men's nurses. Men are by nature merely indifferent to one another, but women are by nature enemies. Man does not control his own fate. The women in his life do that for him. Women, like men, should try to do the impossible, and when they fail, their failure should be a challenge to others. Clever and attractive women do not want to vote. They are willing to let men govern as long as they govern men.
Anytime women come together with a collective intention, it's a powerful thing. Whether it's sitting down making a quilt, in a kitchen preparing a meal, in a club reading the same book, or around the table playing cards, or planning a birthday party. When women come together with a collective intention, magic happens. I always cheer up immensely if an attack is particularly wounding because I think, well, if they attack one personally, it means they have not a single political argument left.
What is success? I think it is a mixture of having a flair for the thing that you are doing, knowing that it is not enough, that you have got to have hard work and a certain sense of purpose. Disciplining yourself to do what you know is right and important, although difficult, is the high road to pride, self-esteem, and personal satisfaction. Any woman who understands the problems of running a home will be near to understanding the problems of running a country. To me, consensus seems to be the process of abandoning all beliefs, principles, values, and policies. So it is something in which no one believes and to which no one objects.
If many influential people have failed to understand or have just forgotten what we were up against in the Cold War and how we overcame it, they are not going to be capable of securing, let alone enlarging, the gains that liberty has made. No woman in my time will be Prime Minister or Chancellor or Foreign Secretary, not the top jobs. Anyway, I wouldn't want to be Prime Minister. You have to give yourself 100%. There are still people in my party who believe in consensus politics. I regard them as quislings, as traitors. I mean it. To wear your heart on your sleeve isn't a very good plan. You should wear it inside, where it functions best. I am in politics because of the conflict between good and evil, and I believe that in the end good will triumph. I just owe almost everything to my father. It is passionately interesting for me that the things that I learned in a small town, in a very modest home, are just the things that I believe have won the election. Every family should have the right to spend their money, after tax, as they wish, and not as the government dictates. Let us extend choice, extend the will to choose and the chance to choose. It's passionately interesting for me that the things that I learned in a small town, in a very modest home, are just the things that I believe have won the election.
I've got a woman's ability to stick to a job and get on with it when everyone else walks off and leaves it. It pays to know the enemy, not least because at some time you may have the opportunity to turn him into a friend. If you lead a country like Britain, a strong country, a country which has taken a lead in world affairs in good times and in bad, a country that is always reliable, then you have to have a touch of iron about you. Ought we not to ask the media to agree among themselves a voluntary code of conduct under which they would not say or show anything which could assist the terrorists' morale or their cause while the hijack lasted? One of the things being in politics has taught me is that men are not a reasoned or reasonable sex. Democratic nations must try to find ways to starve the terrorist and the hijacker of the oxygen of publicity on which they depend. What Britain needs is an iron lady. I like Mr. Gorbachev. We can do business together. The battle for women's rights has been largely won. I love argument. I love debate. I don't expect anyone just to sit there and agree with me. That's not their job. Being powerful is like being a lady. If you have to tell people you are, you aren't. Disciplining yourself to do what you know is right and important, although difficult, is the high road to pride, self-esteem, and personal satisfaction. I always cheer up immensely if an attack is particularly wounding because I think, well, if they attack one personally, it means they have not a single political argument left.